ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a wonderful opportunity for you. You are going to be able to see and hear Matt Taibbi see for the first time Alex Pareene on CNBC. The first question I have is, how did the CNBC invited Alex Pareene into the building? I mean, didn't they check his ID or something? Like, this is it's stunning. They let him in, but this is what's so shocking about it is how these people are just looking at him like, what planet are you from? Like, expressing these strange ideas. We will pause it as we go with comments. Our mics will be live. So here it is. This is the, I don't know what show it is, but I think they're all the same. But it's with Maria
Bartiromo.
But yeah, here we go.
Oh, man.
Busy week for JP Morgan, huh, Scott?
Yep, absolutely. That stock's down over 1% this week. Jamie Dimon looking to end government probes into its selling of potentially shoddy mortgage securities. He was at the Justice Department yesterday working out the particulars on a possible $11 billion settlement on both federal and state levels. So why is the firm getting so much heat from regulators?
Salon journalist Alex Pareene is with us. He says,
I like this. Why is the firm getting so much heat from regulators? I wonder what it could be.
Maybe because it's a massive international crime syndicate.
It's like they took a wheel of fortune. They say, who are we going to just randomly talk to today?
Dimon is the reason, and he's doing more harm than good to JP Morgan. Fortune's Duff McDonald could not disagree more. Here we are talking about this. Alex, to you first. Legal problems aside, JP Morgan remains one of the best, if not the best performing major bank in the world today. You believe the leader of that bank should step down?
I think anytime you're looking at the greatest fine in the history of Wall Street regulation, it's really worth asking, should this guy stay in his job? In any other industry, I can't think of another industry. If you managed a restaurant and it got the biggest health department fine in the history of restaurants, no one would be like, yeah, but the restaurant's making a lot of money. There's only a little bit of poison in them.
Okay, so even before this fine, JP Morgan Chase, in the last 3 years, has paid $16 billion in fees associated with litigation and regulatory requirements, which is 1/3 of its net over that time. So even before this settlement,
the biggest settlement in the history of the financial services. I mean, they didn't poison the entire Gulf of Mexico, but
Right. Yeah. 1 out of every $3 that they made was going to pay their legal expenses for regulatory violations. So. Yeah,
but as Maria Bartiromo says, Matt, legal problems aside. Legal problems aside, why should this guy go?
So who has the qualifications better than Jamie Dimon to run JP Morgan then, in your view?
I think the bank might be too big and too complicated and at this point too corrupt for anyone to run, but we could just give almost anyone else a shot and see if they could do better.
Too corrupt is a bit hyperbolic, perhaps. Doug, do you agree or disagree?
Absolutely not. He obviously got attention with this article. He got your attention. It's preposterous. The stock's touching a 10-year high. It's a cash-generating machine. Sure, they've had their regulatory issues, but he's looking to settle them expeditiously at this point, which is everything you want out of a CEO. It's an absurd suggestion.
This is, just amazing. Like, they just keep saying, like, no, aside from the regulatory, sort of the law-breaking thing, this is, they're still making money.
Right, and what they're specifically talking about in this instance is the London Whale episode. Part of that, where this is the CEO not being aware of $6 billion in losses happening at his own company. I mean, can you think of any other industry where the top guy wouldn't be aware of this gigantic suckhole of losses happening at his firm, and that being a qualification for...
That's absurd, Matt. That's absurd. That's hyperbole. Please, let's...
That's right. It's hyperbolic. I'm sorry.
Hey, Duff, maybe we should pose the question, does Jamie Dimon want to go? I mean, given everything that's been going on around this company, it seems like he's taking arrows from all sides almost every week at this point. Maybe he doesn't want it anymore, and within a year, he's not even going to be there. Who knows?
That's me putting
I doubt he's interested in leaving.
I'm the one who's putting in the Rose music because it's sad.
Yeah.
Because Jamie Dimon might be just the slings and arrows. he may not even want to do this anymore, and then we'll all be in
like
trouble.
this. But, you know, he's expressed a desire to stick around for quite some time. The only thing that's going to have him leave is the board or shareholders basically showing him the door. And, you know, despite suggestions that he should leave because they're paying a fine, you know, no major shareholders are calling for his departure.
So should we talk about the financial strength of J.P. Morgan at this point? I mean, even with all of these losses, the company continues to churn out, you know, tens of billions of dollars in earnings and hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue. How do you criticize that?
I think a lot of their earnings and revenue we've seen have come from really shady dealings that they've been.
Oh, come on.
They have.
All right. Name 3 shady dealings.
All right. Bribery in China, hiring based on nepotism.
You shouldn't be saying things that you can't prove.
Well, the nepotism, hiring the children of prominent Chinese officials is not something I just made up.
Have they been charged?
They haven't been charged, but it's a fact. It's in the news.
What's
Everyone knows
fact?
about it. The fact that
Can I jump in with another one?
Yeah.
How about Jefferson County, Alabama, where J.P. Morgan Chase essentially bribed the local county commissioner into taking a series of deadly swap deals that have left the city of Birmingham in bankruptcy for the next generation. They were fined $750 million for that. That's just one of the going toward that $16 billion in fines.
Leaving legal problems aside.
But that's another bribery case. I mean, she's like, oh, you can't prove bribery.
You got
well,
any
actually,
more?
they did.
You got any more?
They,
Just one bribery case.
Right. Yeah.
Any more?
I mean, for Chase, I mean, the London Whale episode was a huge one.
That's 2.
Money laundering, they just got dinged for that.
That's just 3.
Let's see. Give me a minute. I'll remember some more.
Manipulating electricity markets?
Oh yeah, Melissa. That's right. They just got for Michigan and California. They just paid a huge fine, right?
$410 million.
Yeah, for manipulating the electricity markets.
Foreclosure irregularities.
Right. Well, they were part of that settlement. The credit card fees settlement. They were part of the overdraft fee settlement.
Okay.
They were also part of.
Fine. So that's just 6.
Right. Yeah.
That's just 6 or 7. Is that all you got? Just 6 or 7? Okay. Leaving 6 or 7 legal problems aside.
Oh, the Magnetar case. We can't forget about that. That's the one where they helped create a hedge fund create a born to lose portfolio of bad mortgage-backed securities. This is exactly the same with Goldman's Abacus case.
I just hope that Jamie Dimon's not hearing this. This is going to be really
children
sad.
Of prominent party officials, and there's a spreadsheet on which it's connected to deals they were trying to do in China.
Hiring connected people is
things
as
that
old
are
as...
not actual fact on this program because
anyone can just Google
really
China and J.P. Morgan and see this. I mean, it's not. It was in the New York Times. It's not.
The New York Times. Oh, okay.
It's never been a.
Wait a second. Did you get your 8 or 9 things that they've been fined from? Where'd you find that out? From the Times, Matt Taibbi? What'd you do? Read it in a newspaper?
I guess we should have gotten it from another source.
Oh, yeah.
More reputable.
Wait a second. Let's see if we can get Larry Kudlow on the phone and see what he says about this.
The children of connected people.
No,
and
it's
I'm not
not
sure
a
it's going
crime
to
to do
become
so.
one
It's
because
just
Jamie's
shady.
done it.
But the point, part of the point Maria makes when she cites the performance of the bank, I mean, shareholders have no reason to want this guy to leave.
No,
The stock is up 18% year to date. He's considered to be one of the most respected CEOs on the street, sometimes in some forums, even mentioned as a possible Treasury Secretary somewhere down the line if he so chooses and is so asked. I mean, why would shareholders want this guy to go?
I think that...
Let me just answer here. Felix Salmon addressed this. He said the shareholder perspective is the only one that matters, according to them, except, of course, it isn't. J.P. Morgan's balance sheet shows assets of $2.4 trillion and liabilities at $2.2 trillion, leaving $200 billion in total stockholder equity. In terms of the balance sheet, they only matter about 8.6%. And in terms of the systemic importance of J.P. Morgan to the nation as a whole, its shareholders might even matter even less.
Because he's a PR nightmare for the bank. If you look outside of the financial media, if you look outside of CNBC, like every time J.P. Morgan has been in the headlines for the last year, it's been for terrible news. It's been bad PR for the bank. And I think maybe there is a bubble you can be in which you never hear anything negative about the man, and you hear he's the smartest guy on Wall Street. But like out in the rest of the world, it's nothing but bad PR from Dimon and for J.P. Morgan.
Duff, what about that? I mean, it feels like, it feels a little like a witch hunt, frankly, because they're constantly, talking about charges, and there's, numbers
Charges
that are
that
mind-boggling.
exist.
She's saying it's a witch hunt, and they're talking about charges.
Charges that have actually happened and have settlements that have already been concluded, illegal activity that's already been admitted to. I mean,
how is that not the same as trying to find out if someone's a witch and seeing if they float in water? How is that not the same?
Duff, what about that? I mean, it feels like, it feels a little like a witch hunt, frankly, because they're constantly, talking about charges, and there's, numbers that are mind-boggling in terms of settlements. That's sort of what sets the tone for these negative articles.
Absolutely. Alex is right about the fact that it's been a PR nightmare, and the London whale is a complete and total embarrassment. So are the regulatory issues are a big deal, but they're trying to address them. But that's hardly a reason to want to fire your CEO, especially if they're doing the 99% of their job that they're supposed to do, which is running the institution as effectively as he has.
99%.
Unbelievable. I mean, look, what the argument they're making is the same one that everybody made in Wall Street, after the crash, which is as long as they're making money, then these guys are fine. But the problem is they didn't make money. They all went bust in 2008. They even Chase would be dead on its feet without massive intervention by the Fed, by the U.S. government. Leaving that aside,
leaving the law breaking and the bailouts aside. Is there any reason?
And by the way, this is just the second quarter, but for the second quarter, net income was $6.5 billion just for the 3-month period, compared to net income of $5 billion in the second quarter of 2012. I'm just trying to figure out, from a shareholder's perspective, who would be doing. I mean, do you have ideas? If you're saying you want.
Their business model is based on getting buttloads of money from the Fed for nothing, right? Literally at zero.
They're getting loan money at zero.
And then they are loaning it out to us.
Buying
at
treasuries,
interest, right?
Yes.
Right? And in some cases, they're actually taking money from the Fed at zero and lending it back to the U.S. government at 3 or 4% or whatever it is. Find me the person who can screw up that business model. I mean, it's almost impossible to lose money when you're getting money for free and you're lending it out at interest. I mean,
how do you do that? I mean, you go down to the post office and buy a bond. Someone's got to figure out all those details.
I guess so. But I'm saying a chimpanzee could do this. You know what I mean?
Well, you have to figure out how to get the money there, and then it's like, where are the stamps? I gotta send this in. There's a lot more to it, Matt, obviously, than you're giving Jamie Dimon credit for.
This guy out. Who do you think is equipped to?
I already said I don't think anyone is equipped to run a bank that big and that complex. But I really think that this guy's track record at this point means they should just go with anyone else who's available.
I mean, I don't know. We could spend here all day.
Hey, are you available?
Sure, I would do it. I could do just as well at ignoring the London whale.
Well,
but I mean, if you're talking. It's almost ridiculous to even have this conversation. We're talking
it is
track record.
Ridiculous.
The guy has a great track record.
At making money for J.P. Morgan, not at managing the bank in a way that has been good for the economy as a whole, or in a way that has avoided these massive fines and numerous charges.
What do you think would have happened if J.P. Morgan were not among the banks that actually alleviated things during the 2008 financial crisis?
And what if Jamie Dimon wasn't at the helm?
Unloading toxic assets on investors. They unloaded assets they knew were toxic on investors. That's how they got through. That was the brilliant risk-taking or the risk-avoidance strategy.
That is not how they got through the crisis.
It's not how they got it at all.
That's ridiculous.
It's just not true. It's just not true. We really need to stick to the facts here. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Marie is the best. I mean, yeah.
Well, what's stunning is that even if I accept their premise that we're going to leave the legal stuff aside and leave the sort of all the fines aside and leave the whale aside and all that aside, if they're making money, what difference does it make? Just that attitude of like, isn't there supposed to be some social function for these banks? Isn't that why we bail them out? Isn't that why we isn't that the whole point? Isn't that why we have regulations? There's supposed to be some social function for these people other than enriching themselves.
Well, they don't think that way. I mean, that's not the way you think on Wall Street. I mean, you would be an anathema for thinking that way. But, it's...
I guess it's time for me to redo my application.
But she's not even, but, I think, to Alex's point, he's not even doing a good job at that. I mean, this company, again, in the position, the too big to fail position that it's in, where it's essentially backed by the United States government and bankrolled by a literally bottomless well of free money from the Federal Reserve. Anybody could do that job, and all they'd have to do it a little bit better is to prevent gigantic disasters like letting a trader in London triple down on a bet that's already lost $1 billion.
I mean, that's the point, right? When we say too big to fail, they are literally too big to fail. There's only one other option. That is succeed.
Right.
And it's just, I mean, if they can't fail, they can't fail.
Right. It's amazing.
Unbelievable.